And action. This is the part of the live stream where I get everything set up, where I double check if the sound is working.
Test, test, test. It seems to be working. Good evening, everybody. We're going to take a moment and let people tune in. Good evening, everybody, to this belated TNL Tuesday Night Live. For those of you that know SNL Saturday Night Live, they ripped it off for me. What's up, Karen? Thanks for joining. That's right. I was the original live person, and Saturday Night Live stole it from me. Never gave me any royalties. And so it is. Tell me where you guys are watching from. Say hi. Let me know what's going on in your lives. If there's anything that you would love to hear about this evening. As always, Tuesday Night Lives are a free flow, a stream of consciousness. I am never quite sure where they're headed. Even as I am plunging headfirst into it, things just come up because, that's just life. It's kind of just leaning into the reality of, life and flow and movement, uncertainty. Usually I talk for a bit, share, see what you guys want to hear about, and then we have the second half, which is more of a meditation and a healing, chance to get activated. So bringing in the interactive aspect, the interactive element, starts with your comments that you guys get to write to me and say what's up and how you're doing and what you're thinking about and what kinds of things you'd love for me to talk about. I have a new Tuesday tradition where I go on hikes in the morning. So I went on a nice hike up in Topanga, and as I was hiking today, I saw a dog on the path in front of me. And as I got closer, I said, "That's not a dog. That's a cat, the size of a large dog." And I'm pretty sure it had a tail, meaning that there was only one kind of cat that could have been, and that would be a mountain lion, because bobcats have a bobbed tail. And it saw me and kind of trotted off into the brush, and I am grateful that it did not decide to be territorial at that moment, because mountain lions can kill you. So that was a little bit of my day. I then ended up climbing this mountain, went on this hike to Eagle Rock. And while I was sitting inside of this cave that I like to frequent there, I met a man who just scaled down the mountain and ended up coming into the cave with me. And he told me that he is in rabbinical school, that he's studying to be a rabbi. And I let him know that on my father's side, there's a long lineage of rabbis. That actually my grandfather was the first male on my father's side to not be a rabbi, which is something I learned later in life. Interesting that I became a Buddhist monk, that somehow I picked up that similar thread unknowingly. Um, and I felt like it could have been the start to a joke or something, like a monk and a rabbi are sitting in a cave. Not sure what the punchline would have been, but it was cool. It was like an interesting experience and a good chat. And, obviously we touched upon what's happening in Israel right now and some of that history. And, it was interesting. I see a lot of people are debating, well, who was here first, the Israelis or the Palestinians, and who gets to be here and who deserves this land. And it's like, well, if Americans feel like chiming in that conversation, we could maybe look at the Native Americans, the indigenous people of this land. And, at some point, everyone came from somewhere. And when do we just learn to live in harmony? What does it mean to live in harmony and togetherness? What does it mean to stop trying to create lines and boundaries and force people to do things the way that we want anyway at all? That eventually, for this whole project called humanity to work, we will have to find a global humanity solution. We even see it in American politics. We have the right and the left, the red and the blue. And we have all these issues that we are so divided on and so polarized on. And at some point, we're going to have to accept that everybody has a different point of view and perspective and opinion. And instead of continuously trying to force everybody to follow along with our own opinions and do things the way that we want, we need to find a way that people may live as they please and find systems and understandings to allow that to be possible, to allow everyone to live the life that they want. And, the places that obviously our freedoms overlap, like if I want to have parties all night, but my neighbor wants quiet, that's a problem, right? So, finding solutions, but looking at things more in terms of how can we find solutions for people being able to live the lives that they want versus solutions that look more like, I'm going to force you to do the way things that I want. Which is, what I'd say most of the world still kind of plays by, at least in the politics standpoint. So, when it asks me, what are you? Are you a Democrat or Republican or independent or, other Green Party? I say that I'm a human. that I don't really need to abide by anything. And as I was talking to this rabbi today, he was a rabbi in training. He was, he told me that he was impressed by me. He's like, oh, you're like this Jew that became a Buddhist that's now doing mental health, and you're kind of none of it and all of it, and you can hold it all at once and just find the wisdom within all the different schools and systems, and be a human being first and kind of supplement my human beingness with different understandings. And yeah, I felt pretty seen and represented in that. That's kind of how I roll. You know, how how can we, instead of being involved in belief structures, get more into what the Dalai Lama calls basic human values, which all people seem to adhere to, things like love and respect and compassion and kindness. How can we show up as people in a better way individually? How can we connect to qualities that that are moving us towards unification, towards peace, towards connection, towards love? At the end of the day, this will only work. This Earth, Project Earth, human civilization on Earth will only work if we find a way to be together, all of us. What does it mean to be together? Um, that isn't necessarily an easy answer. There's a lot that needs to be created around that. A lot of systems need to be created, but to hold that collective vision, to hold that intention, and then find ways to get there. Same thing like when you're in a relationship. If you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, you both have the intention of being together, and then there's going to be fights and conflicts. And some people focus on the fights and conflicts, and it creates these rifts and these separations. But if you're both focusing on the fact that you both want to be together, even the conflicts kind of eventually find their way to these resolves and resolutions. And there's something to be said about staying connected to, what is my highest intention in this situation. I personally feel that a lot in conflicts. It's easy to get into like I'm right, you're wrong, you know, kind of things, or you did this and da da da. But at the end of the day, I kind of have realized that a part of me really cares about being right, but at the expense of harmony, at the expense of feeling connected to people, at the expense of a relationship that matters to me, I don't fucking care if I'm right or not. Um, I would rather meet at a place. I would rather, instead of trying to prove my point of being right, I'd rather say to the other person, I'm sorry. I'd rather try to understand their point. I'd rather find ways to move towards somebody. I realized this a long time ago that being kind is more important than being right. Being loving is more important than being right. Um, and at the end of the day, I could be as right as I want, but if I'm lying in bed alone at night, I can be right. I can be so right all by myself in bed. But if you're going to be right all the time, you're going to be alone. And at some point, it's about prioritizing. I think we focus a lot about being right, right and wrong, instead of love and connection, instead of moving this whole thing forwards into creating the life and the world that we want. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to be right, we're all going to be wrong, and unfortunately, if you haven't realized yet, there are many situations that there is no absolute right or wrong. In fact, everybody is right and everybody is wrong at the same time. And if you could step back from most conflicts, you would see that that is the case. Everybody has elements of being right within their thing, or subjectively they are right. And then everybody also has elements of being wrong and subjectively not being skillful in their way of doing things. Obviously, a relationship is not a thing. I actually take offense to that. As of like a couple days ago, I thought about it. We have this thing called a noun in the English language: person, place, or thing. Is that from like Wheel of Fortune? They have that, whatever, person, place, or thing. Anyway, so we got a noun, person, place, or thing, and then we say like a relationship, or we say life, right? Or we say sex, right? We say vacation. We talk about these processes, these movements, this collection of things as an object, like I would say, like phone, or a rock, a relationship, right? We talk about it as if it's a thing. And I think this really fucks with us because it's not. I just took a trip to Utah this weekend, and I could say it's a trip. It's a thing. It's a solid, it's like a rock, a cup, a trip. It's a thing. But what is a trip? A trip is like, we were in the car and we were talking and we saw these things and we went here, and then there was the eclipse and whoa, and we did photos and we went to Zion, we did that, and we went out to dinner and we came back, and it was 3 days of like flowing experiences with people and sights and sounds. It was like 3 days of flowing life. It wasn't like a thing. There was no thing there. It was like it was a evolving experience of life. Life itself, we talk about it. We say life as if it's a thing, but life is a series of flowing moments that there's no thing to be found within any of this. Sex, right? It's a whole act and a process and a connection, and it's a series of moments and movements, right? That you take these things and you start to open it up and you're like, this is not solid. There's nothing solid here. This is actually a flowing, moving thing. And I think when we understand that it's a process, and this is actually a Buddhist teaching, it's in fact, this is like the Buddhist teaching. This is the teaching of the Buddha, non-self. It's in impermanence and stuff. It's pulling back our perception of solidity of things and seeing more that all of this is just process. Even Seth, right? When you guys think of Seth Monk, it's I'm an object to you. You're objectifying me, right? I'm an object to you. That felt kind of aggressive, actually. I meant that kind of like as a joke. I don't know, but I'm like an object to you. I'm like a thing. I'm like a noun. I'm a category. I'm a character. I'm a thing. But I'm not a fucking thing. I'm a lot of things, and I'm moving and evolving and growing and learning, and I'm breathing in and out, and I'm drinking and eating, and this body is made of all the stuff I ate and drank, and I have new information coming in all the time, and new experiences happening. Uh, None of you actually know who I am. Let's be honest. Even if you spent all day with me yesterday, you still don't know who I am today because I've made new experiences. This moment right now, I am making new experiences with all of you, that who Seth and what Seth is in this very moment is in process. And the same with all of you, right? Those of you watching. So when you reflect upon yourself, you're not one thing, you're not one person. You are this continuous shifting and moving of experiences and information. And it's interesting because, how many people in your life are you holding as solid or stagnant? How many relationships are like, oh, this person's an asshole, or like, this person's amazing, right? This person is lovely. This person's this. It's like, how can we say that? How can we do that? How can we assign these permanent qualities? Like, a rock is hard. Okay. You know, John is great. It's like, is he? Is he great? Is he always great? Are all parts of him all the time always great? What does that even mean? What you mean to say is like, I feel a good feeling generally around John. That's more accurate, right? But what John is, who knows? I don't even know who John is. I don't even know who we're talking about. But seeing that, there are only processes. And honestly, even though I'm talking about a rock as a solid and a hard thing, if zoom in over time, that rock used to be a mountain that kind of whatever eroded and got this rock, and it's eventually going to be worn down into sand and then dust. I don't know what the hell happens. And then eventually everything in the world's going to blow up one day anyway and turn back into, like, whatever it turns back into. And then the whole universe one day is going to collapse back on itself into a singularity and then do its whole bang again. And if something seems solid to you, it is illusionary. It is because you are not seeing it correctly. You are not looking at it with the proper timeline or perspective. And this is important. This is more than just like Buddhist theory. This is more than just something like, we blindly recite back because the Buddha said it. This is like an actual important reflection because it shifts your entire experience of life and your way of relating to things. And if you knew that every person you ever met is just a process, you wouldn't take them as so solid. And even if there's a conflict, you're like, well, whatever. Maybe the next moment that conflict's gone because they've thought about it or felt a new thing. Or maybe I can now say one word and it's going to completely change that whole process. And seeing everything in life as processes, it makes it more interactive. It makes it more flowy. It's kind of empowering. We kind of step back into the creation seat in that sense because we are affecting everything around us. We have the ability to affect all the things as well. So, seeing ourselves, others, life, relationships, things as a process is going to really help us. Even all of your emotions are processes. They have narratives, they have stories, they build up new information, new momentum within us. But if you examine any of your feelings, you'll see that they are also moving processes that are also evolving. And, maybe I felt I was just on a men's call, just did like a men's group call. And one of the guys on the call was like, hey, I'm feeling really good in my life. And it's weird. I'm not used to feeling good and like peaceful. And there's that thing that keeps waiting for he said, the hammer to drop. He's like, I keep waiting for something to go wrong. And, I kind of talked to him. I was like, yeah, like that's a part of you that's afraid. Part of you that, feels afraid, that's having trouble trusting. That's a part of you that, has a story from your past, a scared and sad little boy that that isn't able to relax because he keeps expecting to be hurt, to be abandoned. And and he kind of started tearing up and stuff. And, it was just one of those things. I was like, yeah, like just be present and feel that boy inside of you. And also, like, by really acknowledging that boy and crying those tears that are there to cry, right? Feeling that feeling, it's going to release it. And it's also going to slowly allow that part of you to make a new experience, that you are going to bridge that wounded kind of old narrative story part of you into reality, into the real world. And it's going to start growing. It's going to start learning. It's going to get new information. It's going to get updated. This was a big realization that I had in the monastery. I was on a 3-month retreat and I was doing walking meditation, and I was alone for like 20 hours a day for like 3 months. So I talked to myself a lot because there's nobody else to talk to. So I was just walking, talking to myself. And I, uh, at one point, I remember this is like in 2015. Um, but I just went into like a monologue and I just started saying, like, I like had this feeling like I was standing on like a stage in front of all these people. And I was like, trauma is an outdated part of us. It's an experience from the past that's gotten stuck in time. It's stuck in our nervous system. It's stuck in our mental continuum. It's stuck in our consciousness. It's like the movie broke and a frame got stuck and it's still pop, 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 and it's like stuck on that frame. And what we actually need is we need to feel safe. We need to fully ground and feel safe in this moment, to really send our consciousness into this moment, to feel the earth beneath us, our breath, to feel safe. And the more we feel safe and more safe and more safe and more relaxed and more safe and more safe, suddenly all that stuff starts to kind of come up to be like examined and to be felt and like move through us. And eventually, it starts to like process and it starts to learn and it's malleable and it starts to kind of like, yeah, it wasn't safe for a long time. My childhood wasn't safe. That last relationship wasn't safe. When I lost my job, it wasn't safe. But now it's like it's okay, and really connecting to the parts that are now safe, and connecting to those parts of us that still feel unsafe, that feel traumatized, that are in an old story, and bringing them up to the surface and letting them feel this moment, and letting yourself know, hey, you did it, you made it through that. Letting the part of me that was drowning in the ocean know, like, hey, you survived that. The part of me that my dad was yelling at me, like, hey, you know what, like, you are loved and everything's okay. That we can actually connect to these different memories that are stored within us and update them, give them new emotional information, and they actually start to heal. They start to open up and shift and release and process through us. Some of these are really deep and they're, like, we call them subconscious, but it's because it's not like a memory. It's more of like a perception or a feeling. Like that guy was saying, he's like, I don't know what this is, but I just noticed that there's this tension in me. And like when I finally get into it, it's that I'm like waiting for something to go wrong, right? So it's not even like a clear thought. It's like not even a clear memory. It's just like a feeling that like he's just used to the thing, something happening. And, I also said to him, well, listen, like that's also like one step away from sabotage, right? That's one step away from not being able to trust and drop in. So I'm going to eventually, that energy is going to sabotage my present moment, and it is going to make a problem. And then I'm going to be right, and then I'm going to be able to be back in that place where I feel comfortable, is where then there's chaos, right? That trauma also loves recreating itself to keep experiencing itself because it's known and it's familiar, and it's safe and comfortable in a fucking fucked up way, but it's true. And at some point, we do also need to just feel those feelings and give them that update and shift them and allow new information to come through. A way that I've been doing this is like, if I'm feeling, let's say I walk into a room and I'm feeling like people don't like me, right? I feel that in my body, like rejected or something, put my hand on my chest and I breathe into that feeling of people don't like me and I'm rejected and I feel it. And yeah, maybe it connects back to like high school or something, or it goes somewhere. But I just feel that feeling more than anything. Like I don't make it too complicated. I just feel that feeling. And then I say to myself, what if? What if people here actually really like you? What if people here are actually really grateful for you? What if you're going to be everyone here's favorite person of the night? What if there's all this love around you? So I feel that trauma, that feeling, that whatever in my body, place my hand on that spot, I breathe into it, and then I say, what if? And I say the opposite, the thing that I want. And I then actually start feeling that. I start feeling like I'm wanted. I'm feeling like I'm loved. I'm feeling accepted. I start to actually create like a warmth and I feel those feelings. And then when I interact with people, it actually then starts creating that, right? So it's this kind of process of recognizing when my emotions are about to create a reality that I do not want, and they're about to send me down a pathway that I'm not interested in going down, right? And I stop it, I catch it, I catch it, and I feel those feelings, and then I decide a new track. I lay down a new emotional track, and I let reality now go that way, and this works. This is a real thing. We will create after our emotions often. So it's like if you're feeling a thing, you will probably react and relate to a situation to continuously recreate that thing. But if you can feel that feeling and just know that it's an old, outdated piece of information, create the new thing you want. You literally step back into that creator seat and you can move the ball where you want it to go. Right. And this is really powerful and beautiful. And I don't actually hear many people talking about this. So whether it's not that well known or I don't know if I created this or what, but um it's what I've been doing and it's working. So I'm passing that off to all of you. Um, we're definitely having a fewer amount of comments than normal. So I just want to say that if anybody has anything they'd love to hear about, or you know, or if anything that I just said resonated with you, I'd love to see in the comments. Just like, what did you hear? What was that bringing up for you? Where's your mind going? If you're watching this on replay, you're more than welcome to comment. I read all of the comments that pop up on these videos and I'll answer them as well. So, feel free to use this as sharing. It is still kind of like strange for me to be like sitting in my room talking to my computer to people sitting in their homes talking to their computer, and I can't see you and I can't feel you. So, I feel like I'm like a one-man TV show. I'm just like staring at myself talking. So I really enjoy when people share in the comments so I know where you guys are at. Because I can't see you. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you're all asleep, and that's fine if that's true. Yeah, those are just some things. I didn't plan on saying any of it, but here we are. Stopped in when I saw you were on, hoping to feel more peace in this sad time. That's sweet. Who wrote that? I only get to see with the StreamYard, it just says Facebook user. Very informative. So when I check in my thing, I'm gonna sit here and like hem and haw for a minute. Bonnie. All right. What's up, Bonnie? Thanks for joining. Hi, Robin. Welcome from Central PA. Feel more at peace in this sad time. Yeah. So, there's a lot of directions to go. Oh, what's up, April? Always happy to have you join us. Thanks for being here. Also happy that our croths passed. Our croths passed. Wow, that's where I'm at. Our croths passed. Our paths crossed. Ridiculous. Wow. Don't listen to anything this guy says. Yeah, it's interesting this sad time that we're in, because at the same time, is it sad time? Is it more sad than other times? Tons of horrible things are happening all over the world every day that we don't hear about. So we don't consider those sad times. But then when we're collectively focusing on a thing, then it's sad. So I think first I want to just break down that perspective that we are currently in a sad time. I think that we are in a time period that there is struggle, that there is love, that those things are always existing. There's a lot of pain on this planet every single day. We're often just not aware of it. At the moment, with the conflict that's happening in the Middle East, all of our TVs and phones are watching it play by play, and there are a lot of people suffering, and it makes a collective field of suffering. So, in that sense, yes, this is a difficult time. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of grieving, there's a lot of misinformation. I'm noticing on social media, a lot of people are misusing this conflict to push their narratives. I'll either see people saying like, "This is why Israel needs its own thing," or "This is why Palestinians need," or "This is why Joe Biden didn't," or "This is why Trump did," or "This is why," and it's see there's a lot of people stoking this fire and trying to just push it in the direction that they want. This is why we need to invade Iran, you know, and I think the sad part about this is just that nobody wants anybody to be hurt. Nobody wants people to die. Nobody wants suffering to persist and perpetuate like this forever. Even people that are even part of this conflict are perpetuating it in the hopes that it'll lead to the end of perpetuation. Even the Israelis are bombing to be like, may this be the end of the thing, and then the Hamas guys are bombing to be like, may this be the end of the thing. It's like, in a weird way, right? Everyone's actually trying to get to a place on the other side of things where there's peace, but it's still just that idea that it's only going to be peaceful if I do it the way that I want, if I get it my way, if everything looks like the way that it works best for me or my people or my tribe or my country. And yeah, and that's kind of always been there. I think that's even in the animal kingdom. There's a lot of that territorialness and kind of tribalisms, and we eventually get to evolve past that as humans. But yeah, may we use this moment, this little community, this little pocket of reason and love to find solace, to find refuge, to charge up our emotional batteries. To the Buddha said, one of the ways to know if a community will be successful is if they gather in peace and they leave in peace, right? So may we continue to gather in peace and leave in peace. May we create peace. May we be peace. Can bomb the world to pieces, but can't bomb it into peace. Yeah. I mean, if you bomb the world enough and then there's nothing left on the earth, then the world will be peaceful. So I guess you could bomb it into peace, but I think we probably want humans to still be here. I think we probably want all the animals and the plants as well. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, I don't know if it's because like I was a monk or because of like whatever I'm doing. Maybe this is a shared thing amongst a lot of people, but I just don't get it. I don't. It all feels so outdated to me. It just feels so outdated. It's it's never worked. It just doesn't work. It's who's going to win? How's anyone going to win any of this? If you're fighting, you're creating more fighting. It's not like that there's no end. It's so strange that no one's kind of just taken a moment and been like, hey, like us bombing them just creates more of them angry at us, and they're just going to attack us again and hurt more of us, will make us more angry and attack more of them and hurt more of them. And it's like, there is not a solution that way for either side. Which is kind of just, it's for me just kind of like insane. Like how do we have leaders, people that we call leaders, that aren't leading, aren't leading with wisdom, aren't leading us in the direction that we want to go in. It's kind of crazy to me. It's kind of crazy. I once saw like an interview with Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, back in the day, and he's like, "Look, there's like 100 countries, 120, whatever, 120." He's like, "You take them all, you put them in a big room, you lock the fucking door, and you say you don't come out until you figured out how to be peaceful together." You know, and it's like, in a weird way, yeah, like it could be so simple. Like it could be so simple that just like literally a small handful of people in these powerful positions could be like, hey, like let's just do it differently. Or we need enough people, normal people, to like make that shift. Have you heard or read about Marianne Williamson? I have met Marianne Williamson, in fact. She ran for president. Um, Something that I've been seeing, and I've been talking to a lot of people who are creating like regenerative communities and like new energy sources and different things, and new like educational systems. The vibe that I've been getting from people, and not even just the vibe, what people have been saying, is that like we're not going to get the answers from the systems. We are not going to get the answers. That there's not going to be this day that the world leaders are going to figure it out or change, or it's only going to happen when we create new systems that work better than the old systems, and things are just going to move to that. Um, you know, that's kind of what's gonna happen. It's gonna literally be us birthing new systems from within the failing old systems, and eventually, just those are gonna just get more energy and more votes. You kind of saw cryptocurrency starting to do that. um yeah, just like lots of little things that there's like little buds everywhere. And when I travel and when I talk to interesting people, I hear so many amazing, inspiring stories of what people are doing, and none of it's like in the news. None of it, like, if you're watching the television or the newspapers or the stories, you're only gonna get blasted with like the old system and like how things have been and the outdatedness of things. The new things are not being televised. They're quieter, and they're just starting their own things. And if you know, and eventually, like, they build up enough critical mass that they start breaching more of like the collective consciousness, right? The social psyche, or whatever it would be called. um but it really seems like that's what's going to happen, is just people are going to start creating new systems. um oh, we got a question about my Tibetan prayer flags. Brr, brr, brr. Tangent. Let me know anyway if anything you just heard me say was interesting, or what that brought up for you, or what you're thinking. Really quick tangent. Also, if you've noticed, this is the Tibetan flag, and the Tibetan flag is the same colors as the Tibetan prayer flag. Ooh. These represent different elements. We have the earth element. We have wood. I actually forget. I actually knew all of these. It's like water, metal, earth, wood, fire. Yeah, I actually think that's it. They also connect to different meridians in the body. So this is like Chinese medicine vibes too. Is that like wood is the liver, fire is the heart, water is the kidneys, metal is the lungs. This is weird because I'm moving my hand like reverse because I'm just looking at it. And what did I say? Red is earth, and that's the stomach. And so yeah, anyway, there's like a lot of connections between Tibetan Buddhism and Chinese things, and each one of these has a different thing. Like that's like a called chakra symbol. This has like the Buddha. This is like the wind horse. There's one that's like Padmasambhava. There's different like blessings and different things. So that's like that would be like a whole Buddhist deep dive to get into all of that stuff, which I love kind of nerding out about. That's the kind of stuff that I love talking about. It's Tibetan Buddhism and prayer flags. Yeah. Well, thank you all for being a part of this dialogue, for listening, for sharing some things, for asking some questions. Still open for some more thoughts, some more shares, some more comments. And we will then shortly then get into the thing, as I call it, the meditation and or healing. All right, let's do the thing. Wish I could, I want to like play music on this thing, but Facebook's got this thing where they like, they catch if you have music and then they're like, they cancel your whole video because they're like, oh, this is copyrighted. Like, this is the music from the thing. So, I used to always play music with these until Facebook somehow artificial intelligence cracked down and all like the sounds. And so now I just kind of do it in silence. All right. Cody says, how do I Reiki? How do you Reiki? Ashley says, I do think as Pluto moves into Aquarius, it will echo what you said about creating new systems that work for the collective. Oh, cool. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I hope it's moving in the right way. Better be. Cody, how do you Reiki? Well, I was Reiki attuned in 2001, so I'm an old Reiki soul. And the way you do it, a Reiki person would say that you have to go and connect to Reiki and get Reiki attuned by someone who's a Reiki master, and they'll connect your head to the Reiki energy, and then you channel Reiki and you become part of the Reiki stream and blah, 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 blah. I would say that all of us human beings have the natural inbuilt ability to be energy healers, which, I think is important. It's important for us to realize that we are all energy healing machines. We all have the ability to be energy healers, and we all can energy heal. And, it's really just about doing it. It's about connecting to the feeling of energy. It's about connecting to the flow of energy. It's about allowing the energy to move through us, setting the intention, and then allowing the field of energy to move with our intention. Everybody has the ability to do this. There's something that I love about Reiki. I love the fact that, and I'm like looking at your comments on the phone so I could see like who's asking what. I think that Reiki has the ability to, like reading things too. Reiki has the ability to kind of like reach a lot of people. I feel like it's like the most widespread energy healing system that we have. So I love that it's so accessible. I don't love the amount of ego that I see people attaching to Reiki, that people are like, I'm a Reiki master and I'm a Reiki whatever. And like, there's so much ego involved in Reiki. And I feel like it's really corrupted the portal. That like people really use Reiki to feel special, kind of like light language. It's like, I speak light language, I'm so special, right? Like I just see a lot of ego attached to that stuff. And it's like totally missing the point vibrationally as well. Because the truth is like anybody can speak light language. Anybody can just channel. Babies do it. They just blah, 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 blah. They just channel their feelings into words, right? That they can just connect to an energy and it just comes out as blah, 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 and it's just a vibration. We all have that ability. Reiki is the same thing. We all have the ability to channel. We all have the ability to connect to the field of energy around us, to connect to an intention, to source ourselves from that energy, to share that source, to help other people bridge back to that source. That is built into this body. This is hardwired into our nervous systems. I actually lead energy healer training programs based off of that understanding. Like, so I lead people, I teach people to be energy healers, but from the perspective of everybody can do this. This is not special. I'm not like doing a thing. I'm literally like just showing you how to do the thing that you already know how to do. Please go teach other people. Like, let's get everyone in this world just healing each other. There's no time for like, you have to get the certification to blah, 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 blah. It's like, there's no time for that. Sorry. Um, and like, says who? Go back to where'd break even come from? We don't know. Some people say it's Jesus's healing energy. Some say it was the Buddha's healing energy. Like, at the end of the day, it was just someone or some ones who were just healing, and they were sharing healing, and then someone systematized it or slapped a name on it and patented it and made a thing about it. So, if you want to get an attunement, go for it. If you want to, have like a Reiki teacher or master, go for it. And also, like, there's definitely something to be said about just like allowing yourself to already be a healer and to open up and to flow into channel. When I chant during my meditations, what am I chanting? No. So what I'm chanting during my Siddha healings are all Tibetan mantras, which are based actually in Sanskrit syllables. So yeah, they're all very intentional. That's a good question. People ask me that a lot. Cool. So last chance for romance. Last chance if you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about, any comments. And if not, we will get to the meditation. See, Michael said Buddha's Weg. Buddha's Weg, that was the monastery that I was at in Germany. Not sure if you have a question about Buddha's Weg or you just wanted to say what's up. You feel it in your soul, refreshing and healing. Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm going to kind of take all the things we talked about tonight, stir it into a big pot, and we're going to guide a process that kind of involves all of this, more or less. So I invite you to get into a position that feels comfortable and stable and relaxed. If you want, you could toss in a Spotify track for yourselves. I can't play it from my end or Facebook will shut me down, but if you want to like open up your Spotify and play something for yourself nice in the background, or if you want to like open up YouTube to like 2-hour solfeggio frequency, blah blah blah, you can take a moment to create a nice ambiance on your laptop or your phone in the background of this. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I think eventually I need to just make my own. I need to make like a track, or I need somebody to like give me a meditation track. That's just like, here, this is a free meditation track. Just use it in the background of your videos. I'm like, dope, done, easy. So anyway, so let's get into a position that feels comfortable and stable. This could be sitting, this could be laying down. I guess it could be standing, although it's not typical. And yeah, we close our eyes, take some deep breaths. And we start to feel the space around us, the space between things. Taking a really deep breath in through the nose, all the way down into the belly. Out through the mouth. connecting to the space around us. All things are connected. Everything is unity, unified. Our thoughts, prayers, intentions, our vibration travels across time and space. If you put a pinch of salt in a pond, that pond gets a little saltier. If you put a pinch of sugar in that pond, it gets a little sweeter. Whatever energy we put out there, the collective shifts just so much in that direction. When multiple people come together in coherence, holding the same vibration, it is shown to have massive effects. Peace in ourself is peace in the world. Loving all the parts of ourself allows us to love all parts of the world. Understanding ourself allows us to understand others. Holding space for ourselves allows us to hold space for situations. Beginning to relax the body. Relaxing the nervous system. I invite you to rub your hands together until they're warm. And pull your hands apart about the size of a soccer ball. This is just opening up our own field of energy, our own energy healing abilities. And just relaxing, taking a few breaths, and just putting your attention to the space between your hands. You can move your hands closer together or further apart as you feel. Just letting this be easy, natural, playful, exploratory. And just imagining allowing the energy that all of us have opened up is connecting. That everybody here, including those we're going to watch in the future, including those who have prayed in the past, allowing just all this energy to accumulate. Imagining that we are all holding one big ball of energy together. You can angle your hands a little bit forwards if you'd like, a little bit towards the screen. And just feeling, imagining like we're all holding a ball of energy, just breathing. Just seeing what that feels like, just pretending, imagining. Sometimes believing is seeing. Imagining this ball is actually expanding and it's encompassing us, that your entire body, all of our bodies are sitting within this ball together. Just letting this ball of energy be pure, just pure healing, divine light, just peaceful. It's not our energy. There's nothing from you in here. It's not personal. It's just the field of energy that is already naturally there. We're just activating it. And now imagining that as we're all holding this big field of energy within us in the circle is the earth. The earth is about the size of a globe, like from your classroom. Just imagining that it's the actual earth, even though it's small and it's gently spinning. And we're just channeling this energy, this clearing, cleansing, quiet, peaceful energy into the earth, wherever it's needed. As if there is just this group of giant galactic beings that is us around this planet Earth, just channeling peaceful, loving resolution energy into the planet, to all zones of conflict, into the minds of all the people, into the people's hearts, into the situations. Letting this be effortless, letting this flow. Do not force it. It is not you. It is holding space with intention and allowing that space to naturally fill, to naturally vibrate to a tune, all on its own. Mantras Om Mani Padme Hum. Chanting, sending love, compassion, gentleness, peace to the earth. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Sending this energy into any parts of our own lives, into ourselves, our bodies, our relationships, our situations, wherever the energy of peace and resolution and healing is needed. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Hum. Just allowing the energy of peace, of resolution to flow into all the molecules of your body, into all aspects of your own life, of your own world, all your relationships, all your situations, to your past, to your future. Just allowing, like when you open up a window and let some fresh air in, just allowing this energy in through yourself, through your life, into your system, to your body, into your heart, into your mind, into your life. Just allowing this fresh energy, this peace, this clearing, this clarifying energy just to move through your entire field and also spread that way through the whole planet. From me and my body and my life, just expanding through everything, in all directions, eternally, forever. Just allowing the energy of peace, the energy of resolution, the energy of gentleness. Taking some deep breaths into that. Just letting this energy flow in all directions. You can relax your hands. You can place your palms on your thighs, hands on your thighs, palms facing upwards. Just relax completely. Just allowing this energy to just vibrate in your field, in your consciousness, in your mind, in your heart, in your body, in the space around you. Taking some deep breaths, just letting your deep breaths be clearing. Letting these be deep clearing breaths. Feeling the field. The energy around you. Jangju Sencho Rinpoche, Makepam Gikirche, Keep Me Mapayang, Gundu Felwa Shog, Tony Dawa Rinpoche, Makepanam Gikirche, Keep Him Mapayang, Gundu Felwa Shog. Taking a few really deep breaths in through the nose, into your body, into your mind, into your nervous system, to your energy system. Full in, full out.
When you are ready, coming back. Deep and full breaths, gently stretching out your body. You can gently open your eyes and return to this space. When you're back, if you haven't fallen asleep, let me know in the chat how that was for you, if anything came up. It's really beautiful vibration of quiet and stillness that I perceive. Cool. So, yeah, I would love to thank all of you for joining me this evening. And for those of you watching on replay as well, it's really a pleasure holding the space every week here on Facebook Live. Cody says you feel light. Bonnie said beautiful, perfect intention. I love it. Beautiful. You could feel the internal anxiety quiet down from Karen. So happy to hear all this. Yeah, these little sessions and talks are my commitment to you, my friends, and my community. Every Tuesday, as much as possible, I am here to deliver and to serve you. And it's really lovely getting to share these spaces with friends around the world. This is cool. May you bring these vibrations into your daily life. May you remember. May you remember that this is available. That this is not Seth Monk that is doing this. This is you connecting to your own fields. You are connecting to these frequencies that exist within you, around you. We are doing it together, which is why it's powerful. Maybe I'm helping conduct the symphony, but all of you have your own instruments that play beautiful music. And it's just when we bring it together, that's why it's so powerful, the group coherence. So yeah, I want to thank you all for joining tonight. Please check out my got a lot of things to check out. my other talks, if you haven't. I have a lot of teachings on Spotify and Seth Monk Meditation, on Insight Timer, on the Unplug app, on YouTube. And I would really appreciate any donations you'd love to send my way at Venmo, Seth-Monk-Meditation. That supports me and my work and my energy and my time. So I really appreciate receiving that reciprocated. And oh yeah, I have a audiobook on Spotify called What If Everything Belonged?
So it's a book that I kind of channeled and I wrote and then I spoke it out and then I put it up there for free. It's like 44 minutes long if you listen to the whole thing. So it's like one car ride and it's actually an activation. It goes through all the chakras and all the themes. And uh, the premise is, what if everything belonged? So if we could stay connected to the vibration, the truth of oneness, how would that change our lives? How would that change our energy systems, our chakra systems? How would it change our consciousness? So it's really cool. It's almost like a series of guided meditations in a way, of going through the different frequencies of the body and connecting them back to oneness. So please check that out. And otherwise, love you guys so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful creation. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Namaste. Tuesday night